Is Doom by Fate worth playing? For sure. Hello everyone, this is my first and might be my only for a while video talking about a specific game. As the title says, this video will be talking about Doom by Fate, an asymmetrical horror game that I really do enjoy. As you guys can see from my previous batch of videos, I mostly just want to talk about my praises and critiques about the game. You guys could visit Clumsy Fumble's video about this as well for some better critique. He's much better at this stuff. But I did put a lot of critique in my latest Jeff video, part 3, and I mentioned a few stuff that I got wrong about the game. I think it was about some sort of combo mechanic. I think I was thinking of break in and steal things, so sorry about that. But firstly, I'll talk about my thoughts on the cosmetic and music, and then the survivors, and then the killers, and just mostly about balancing. But to start off, I think that the skins definitely need some more work, for lack of a better term. And as Clumsy Fumble said, and I will mention him a few times, but as he said, they definitely do need improvement. There also just should be more skins in general. I know that the descriptions for the survivors and killers were written by a team that doesn't know English too well. However, it's still worth saying that they need to be fixed pretty soon, especially given, just look at them. I digress though. There definitely needs to be more skins and cheaper ones as well. Nothing there is the only John Doe skin as of making this, and it costs 5,000, which is pretty absurd because, 5,000 takes quite a bit to get to, but the skins that are currently in the game are still pretty cool. I think that there just needs to be more, but on the other hand, the OST, I would say that it's amazing, and I do think that Jeff's theme definitely does need a bit more of that horror aspect, like a little bit of piano or stuff like that. I still think that it's great though, especially the third layer, pretty phenomenal. I also really love Cool Kid's theme, because unlike Forsaken's, it's actually pretty good. It's got a good vibe to it. It's still fairly menacing to the character, and it's just more refreshing to listen to than a lot of themes in ASIM games for me. But yeah, Captain Rampage's theme, it does give me little pirate vibes in some of the layers, so I'll give him a point. And then John Doe's themes, I just love the default theme. Probably my favorite. His character's music is definitely melancholy, but at the same time it's very dreadful. So yeah, especially with a little jingling in the background. But as for survivors, first and foremost, we've got Mr. Bacon. And I love that a game is finally putting a bacon hair into their game, but it's just so poorly executed. I think that he should have the man package and not the blocky one that's currently in the game, because I think it would make more sense to make him look a bit more accurate. But that's not really what I'm gonna talk about. This guy was just very poorly designed. Because to put it in simple terms, he is utterly useless, especially compared to the other survivors. The self-heal has a 40-second cooldown, I think, and it only heals 20 health. And mind you, the Cool Kid M1 deals 25 damage, Captain Rampage for 30 when he has bullets, and Jet the Killer with 30, 39 if enraged, and John Doe with 30 as well. Each and every killer's M1 just straight up negates your extra sliver of HP. Make the cooldown a bit shorter or something. Maybe give him 30 HP instead of 20, maybe even 35. I don't know. I feel like it would definitely make Bacon useful. Or just get rid of it entirely. Maybe just give him a new ability, because I feel like it's not working out for him. His flashlight is also an ability that is best unused. It drains extremely fast. You need to do generators to get some of your battery back. And, you know, once all the generators are done, there's not really anything you can do. And it also just, it doesn't even stun the killer or anything like that. It's just a bit of a flash and a bit of slowness. So it doesn't really do anything for you. And then his last ability is a tracker. And there's no point in using it because terror radius in this game, they're already pretty huge and you can already hear things halfway across the map. So that needs to be fixed as well. But just give the poor guy some like new stuff. I think that would be very nice. But the next survivor on the list is Brawler. To start off, I think that it should be removed that he's able to use Pocket Sand and then Liver Blow right after. I feel like there needs to be a bit of a cooldown between using moves super fast, because the fact that you can combo that, it's just so annoying. But I do think that he still needs a bit of a buff, like longer stuns. It's 110 HP and abilities itself are fine. It's just that he's pretty underpowered as like a stunner, but he's still alright. And for Jane Doe, she's quite literally just a better version of Bacon. She can heal herself very well. She also has a knockback move that negates damage, so it kind of acts as like a parry. But at least her lore with John Doe isn't corny. Forsaken. But personally, I feel like Jane Doe shouldn't be a healing character. I think she could be way more unique. I don't really know how, but she definitely could. I imagine that after she lost her husband, she'd be more of a loner and only keep to herself. She could have a self-heal, but she just isn't really cool. Like, there's nothing truly special. And then for Jester, I think that the slowness from the little artful looking move is fine. I think it's called Hat Trap. Yeah, but it should also speed up nearby survivors. It'll just make it like a tad bit better that way. But it'll definitely be good for balancing. But I won't really complain too much about that. I think that the bananas are also pretty fair for the most part. Maybe make the pie better. I don't know. I can't really think of much to help for this twink. And then for the soldier, I also have quite a few complaints about him. His stun's windup is way too short, being only half a second for a shotgun. His blocks are way too easy to hit as well. And sure, make them easier than Forsaken's or Die of Deaths. That's fine, but just nerf his super fast windup. Just by a slight bit is all I ask for. Because I hate being, like, parried every other swing. It's very, very annoying. But for his carry move, I personally think that there could be some sort of buff to the carried survivor. Or something. Maybe they could get passively healed over a period of time. Not by a lot, but maybe just make the carried person take less damage or something while being carried. I don't know. I just feel like there's not a lot of incentive to use the move. You're better off just not using it. But about the killers now. I think that the lore for Cool Kid is pretty good. Since the Cool Kid group was abandoned by 007 and 7 because he didn't want to exploit anymore, and then he just kind of he just dipped. And so 3 powerful members now have to fight over the throne, and that's why his render shows 3 of them, and why there are 3 different variants you can randomly spawn with as the killer. I think that this lore and the different variants are all pretty cool. About his moveset though, I think he's way too overpowered. And personally, I find him the hardest to go against in Last Man Standing. And to start off, there is Dual Piercer. Dual Piercer is a move where you do a little animation before throwing one projectile and then another. The swords travel way too fast in my opinion and do way too much damage. Because, I don't know, I just make them slower, like way slower, or just slightly slower, I don't know. I feel like the projectiles, you can't really dodge them. And instead of 15 damage, I don't know, make them do like 10 or 12 damage, because it's an almost free 30 damage in most cases. My biggest complaint about Cool Kid though is that Binding Slash is way too OP. And he can one-shot combo just off of Binding Slash alone. Because if all of his abilities are off cooldown, he could just use Binding Slash, Lunatic Strike, which already makes like 55 damage. Then use Dual Piercer for some extra, and then if you're lucky, maybe get the last hit in with an M1, which is very unfair. I have the same complaints about John and Jeff as well. I literally did a one-shot combo with Jeff on some poor Jester in my third part of playing Jeff the Killer video. But anyway, Speed Hack, I think that's a pretty fair ability. I never had too much complaints about Speed Hack personally, since it's just like a short little speed boost move, and it's still pretty easy to dodge. Cool Kid, but again, another rushdown killer, Jeff the Killer. As Clumsy said in his video, I think everybody needs to be more unique, because I feel like this guy, it's just Jeffrey Woods from Pillar Chase 2, mushed together with Jason Slasher from Forsaken. And sure, there's not a lot you can do with him, to be honest, but make him a bit more unique. Even though he's just a guy with a knife, you know, there's definitely more he could do. But whatever. He can crouch, which slowly builds up a rage bar. I'm pretty sure it's called the stock gauge. And then you get a huge speed boost along with some insane extra damage. Because, again, 39 damage as an enraged M1. Are we serious? There's no need to change the M1 damage of a guy that already deals 25 or 30 damage normally. His lunge move's hitbox is way too big as well. Just like every killer's M1. Please shrink the hitboxes. It's literally just a free 45 damage move with barely any end lag to it. It really needs to just be harder to hit, honestly. And then for Captain Rampage, he's really just a nothing burger. Like, he's not underpowered as people say he is, at least for me. But I do think that he definitely does need more work, because it feels like he's just an unfinished product still. Since this guy, he has the biggest M1 hitbox, has a huge lunge if he has ammo, and does 30 damage as well. And juking is like almost impossible, which that's already very unfair. His ammo and his reload mechanic also just don't really work, since there's nothing special about the gimmick. I just hate to see such a cool character with like so much potential just be so boring. I think that his moves all need to be changed. But yeah, just take what Clumsy Fumble said in his video and just apply that. And then for John Doe, I love his lore once again, and I like the little thing for him in the killer section of the shop where he has a question mark next to his name. I think that's pretty cool. But for the last time though, get rid of the absurdly long stuns. Like, Jeff the Killer's Bloodthirst move and John Doe's Corrupted Force move need to be hard to turn as well, since they both move like Prime MX and Pillar Chase. You're literally able to go in multiple circles with these guys, and you might as well just get rid of Jeff's Bloodthirst, since I don't know. I feel like not every killer needs to have some sort of lunge or charge move, or else it's just gonna be like the Forsaken issue, since Captain Rampage is built on lunging and dashing. John Doe as Corrupted Force, Jeff the Killer as Bloodthirst, and a move that makes him lunge, like I mentioned earlier, and then Cool Kid has Binding Slash. So everybody has a lunge of some sort. But back on topic, make Corrupted Wave have less stun and damage. He doesn't really need to do 15 damage for that. Like, just... Or maybe he can keep that, but I don't know. You already kill people way too easily with John Doe. The 5 extra damage really isn't going to do anything. So just please nerf it. And I forgot to mention, but do not release skins if they are unfinished. The second Kindred skin is, first of all, inaccurate, and second of all, quite literally a free win because you have no tear radius. It's so stupid. Like, you only have a heartbeat that is pretty hard to hear over the noise that goes on if you're doing generators or people are using abilities or the killer's nearby and they're using abilities. Just, I don't know. It just feels unfinished. And look, I adore this game. Alright, I really love it. And Zocarp, thank you for the amazing music. Keep it up. But just please, devs, make characters more unique. Give a couple of reworks here and there, specifically for Bacon Jane Doe, Jeff the Killer, and definitely Captain Rampage. This game has like a ton of potential, and I do not want it to go to waste. Alright? Don't fail me, don't fail yourself, and do not fail your community. Just don't fail. Alright? Huskless out.